So, day 2 of practicing this Chlumny monologue from Taboo, and sorry for not giving any kind of description. Last one, I kind of picked it up in the middle of practice. A couple different ways I'm working on the practice of this today. I was looking at archetypes for this character. He's a chemist for the main character, and they go on a bit of an adventure together in the late 1700s London. So, as a super scientific brain, and considering the function of the story, their archetype to me seemed like, because that can make it fun for me too, a witch with a cauldron. That's something fun to think about. A mad scientist breathing his own fumes. That was also fun to think about. And he also kind of seemed to me like the only IT guy at a company. You know, when you have just one IT guy, and they kind of have, he or she or whoever, you know, kind of has ultimate power. They're like, I know the things that you don't know. The one I concluded that I picked was the mad scientist on his own fumes, and that kind of explored some gestures and some actions. And I haven't totally settled on a psychological gesture yet. For more on that, check Jeff's videos, not mine. But yeah, I do kind of feel a wafting, floating quality to this character, which might actually be mixed with radiating because of the inner fire and the combustibility of this character and the work they do and the stuff they're talking about. Without further ado, I'm going to put together some more of my work in this monologue for you. Day 2, working on stuff. Got my objectives nailed down. I got stuff actioned out. I might go through with the actions and then do the final product for today. I did the archetype, decided on something, and the psychological gesture, and started to consider extra things. Where is the beauty and the ease in this character? Where does that come in? And another thing, where does the interplay of good and evil come in this character? I was reading and I'm like, oh yeah, it is always there, and it kind of gives you a lot to play with in your inner life, because, you know, very few characters are straight good or evil. There's always an internal struggle going on, which the playwright, the screenwriter, whatever, has kind of laid out before you. And I think it's my job to let that wrestle happen within me and within this character in regards to the world of the story. Boom! Oh, and the objective for the scene. I want you to respect me. The French experiment was, how can I put this, entirely French in conception and execution, and was therefore a total disaster. I'm not forgetting my actions, so let me start over. The French experiment was, how can I put it, entirely French in conception and execution, and therefore a total disaster. And is therefore a total disaster. And is therefore a total, was therefore, and therefore a total disaster. It was John Company, I think, and the king, he would just attack Mauritius, and the French needed powder in a hurry. So, this stupid fucking French decided to put chlorate in the mix. However, when you use chlorate, you have to stir and stir and stir and not stop stirring. You need shifts and men round the clock. And even with this careful, constant stirring, even with everything done to the finest degree possible, still, potentially, boom, as in your premonition. The French blew Mauritius nearly in half. The question is, where would you get a chemist insane enough to work for you if you decide to put chloride in these fucking vats? If we don't get the chloride, we will hang in about 8 days. You would risk the life of your son for chlorate. He is, isn't he? Alright, let's do the top. God. Pull slap reel poke. Pull slap reel poke. Crush. The French experiment was, how can I put this, entirely French in conception and execution. And therefore total disaster. It was John Company, I think, and the French who just attacked Mauritius, and the French needed powder in a hurry. So the stupid fucking French decided to add chlorate to the mix. Well, viewed solely from the standpoint of making gunpowder very quickly, it was a wild success. However, when you add chlorate, you need to stir and stir and stir and not stop stirring. You need shifts round the clock with men. And even with a careful, constant stirring, everything done to the finest degree possible, still potentially, boom, as in your premonition. So the question you need to ask yourself is, where will you get a chemist insane enough to work for you if you decide to add chlorate to these fucking vats? We will hang in about 8 days if we do not get this mix. You would risk the life of your son for chlorate. He is, isn't he? Boom, a lot of flow, a lot of inner life. I don't know. We'll look at it. We'll revisit. Any questions, take them to Jeff, not me. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Serious acting stuff. If you're not here for the serious acting stuff, there's like a skin on my face. Okay. If you're not here for the serious acting stuff, the comedy videos are what I normally do. But you know we gotta stay well-rounded and practice. Practice is the hardest thing to make yourself do when your teacher ain't around. Take care, everybody. Thanks so much. Comments, criticisms, suggestions, all welcome. Appreciate you.